over 30 years now. I started way up the food chain. I was a dishwasher, and I've been a CNA, and then I became a CPA, and I did financial feasibility, which allowed me to go to, I've now been to a little over 600 retirement communities in my career. To say that I've seen a few would be an understatement. And then about a little over 20 years ago, I decided I talk way too much to be a CPA, and I started going into the sales and marketing end and have loved it ever since. I want to introduce you real quickly to Jeanette Zimmerman. She's one of our retirement counselors here. She's the one working with you all. So Jeanette, very integral to this process, and we'll cover that more during the presentation. And then since she's on, Felicia Saraceno is up in the corner there, muted. Felicia does our external sales and marketing for us. So she goes out to a lot of the doctor's offices, etc., and does our external work. She's also our web guru, for lack of a better term. She does a lot of these Zoom meetings for us. So the reason for today's presentation really is I want to talk a little bit about something called successful aging more than anything, and about the Arlington. I always use, there's two quotes that I love, and it's just two facts. One, there are now more people over the age of 65 alive today than if ever, actually there's more people over the age of 65 alive today than in history. Basically, of all the people who have ever reached the age of 65, most of them are alive today. It wasn't too long ago that people did not, that people didn't live that long. And a lot of you probably, when you were really young, you know, somebody who was 65 or 70 was probably one of the older people you knew. It's only recently that people have lived longer. The second fact is there are more people over the age of 65 in the US than the entire population of Canada combined. And it really puts into perspective the long-term care planning, the things that need to happen in the US that other countries don't have to deal with on the same scale. People look at the medicine up in Canada, but we have more people over 65 than they have for their entire population. So it takes a lot more planning to do things here than it might happen in other countries. For most of you, your decision will be to stay at home. That will be a decision most people make. There's a lot of reasons people do that. One, it's easy to do. You don't have to move. You don't have to do anything different. There's no change required. You know, I usually say for most couples that are on, you know, one's usually ready to move, and the other one, you know, you're going to have to drag them out screaming probably before they want to make that change. Basically, people will say, you know, hey, I just want to wait and see what happens. I had somebody in the industry years ago that used to call that the 3 H's: hide, hope, and hunker down. Basically, let's just hide away and hope nothing bad happens to us. But hope is not a plan, as we've learned over the years. And for most of you, you've been planners your whole life. And it seems odd to me that people then reach 65 and it's like teenagers, they become bulletproof. And now let's just wait, and if something bad happens, we'll react to it. You have to count on neighbors, friends, and relatives, and they're willing to do that. You have to bring services in, and I think COVID especially has shown us kind of the weakness in that plan a little bit, is bringing services in is not near as easy as it used to be. It's very difficult to get services into your home compared to how it was before. You have to still have the upkeep of your house, real estate taxes. The biggest thing is no big changes. And for a lot of people, it's a good plan still. There's things you can do to mitigate them. I'm not saying you have to move. I usually find if people are on listening to me speak, though, they're going, well, I think we might move one day, and I kind of want to figure out what's out there just in case that were to happen. So basically what I tell them is, as you're researching, you need to figure out what's best for you. You're going to be proactive or reactive. Are we going to wait until something bad happens, or are we going to make a move or something just to make sure that we cover the potential of bad things happening? What's the location we want to consider? Where are our family, our friends, our doctors, our country club? Do you want to own real estate and have that responsibility, or would you prefer to give up that responsibility to someone else? You have to look at, even within our industry, if you look at senior living, the flexibility of a rental versus an entrance fee community. Rental communities have a place. People love them because you don't have that big lump sum. You just pay as you go. But it also means it's a lot more transient. The fact you can get out of the contract is the whole reason most people move there. So that idea of those lifelong friendships and people you're going to get to know, it's no different than living in an apartment complex. You know, people are going to come and go, and you'll have new neighbors every few years usually. So the entrance fee gives a little more security and a little more consistency to the process, not to mention the upkeep. That entry fee allows us to upkeep at a much greater rate than a rental community. So rental communities always look great when they're built, and then 10 years later, not so great. Do you want to live with family or not? I only warn on the family thing, make sure you know what you're getting into. This is not going back to when the kids were young and you're all going to have dinner together at 5 o'clock and everything will just be the family together again. No, it's going to be, you know, my grandma lived with us and it became Big Macs for her every four days that we brought to her. And we might eat dinner together once a week. The other thing is, can they care for you? My wife is a nurse. I'm a former nursing assistant, probably more prepared to care for a parent than any two kids on the planet. And my mom lives in a retirement community. For the very fact of not only do I know I can't give the care, I don't want to give the care. I want to still be her son. I don't want to become her caregiver. I want her to remember me as the son that visits her, not the son that's giving her a shower. So it's a very different relationship once you become caregiver. I'm sure the kids are more than welcome and more than willing to take it on. I find most of them don't know what they're volunteering for, though. And what happens is a year into that, it becomes too hard. And now you're being reactive again because the plan fell apart. So you have to have those hard conversations with the kids. So enough about the choices. I want to talk about, why do people choose a life plan community? That's what we are. A life plan community means we have all levels of care. We have independent living, where you live just like you live now in your home. We have assisted living, where you get a little bit of help, mainly with bathing, dressing, and medications. We have memory care for those that have dementia and dementia-related illnesses to give us memory support. And then we have skilled nursing. We have a 5-star rated skilled nursing facility here, all private rooms. The reason most people pick a life plan community is to remain in control of their decisions. And I know that sounds strange to say, but really the control of their decisions, I find, is one of the driving forces. It's strange as you get older, and I think of this as I get older, the kids go from being your kid to thinking they're your parent now. They want to tell you what to do and when to do it. I catch myself with my mom sometimes. She turned 80 this week, trying to tell her what to do versus, she's perfectly healthy at 80 and able to make her own decisions. But for some reason, I feel empowered to tell her what to do anyway. Gives you control of those decisions. You already have a plan, so the kids don't have to step in and try to provide some plan that they think is appropriate to you. But it's also the peace of mind of knowing you have that plan. I've been doing this sales for 20 years. And what I love is watching somebody move into their place, and they'll tell you that this weight just comes off their shoulders the minute they close that door and they're moved in. Because they're like, for once, I know financially, health-wise, the decisions have been made, and I'm in a quality place that's going to take care of me now. And like for me, the money's a big aspect. I worry about as I get older, will my wife have enough money to live off of? Did I provide enough? It's nice to have that assurance of, hey, if I miscalculated and we ran out of money, they're still going to take care of me, or they're still, and it's one of the biggest reasons I will move to a retirement community, probably at 65. I'll move in because I want that peace of mind and that security for my family. You avoid the stress of the family concerns. Social opportunities, though, is a big part. There's a group called the MacArthur Foundation that did studies in the 70s about why people age better than others. It used to be believed that people aged well because of genetics. And you've heard people say, well, my dad lived to be 98, so I'll probably live to be 98. So they tested identical twins, all kinds of things, to find out that really social interaction was over 50% of the equation of why more people lived healthier and longer. Diet and exercise fell right behind that. Genetics was probably less than 10% of the equation. It really was. So I tell people, if you act like your dad did, then maybe you'll live as long, but you have to be social. You have to have those interactions. and stay, you need to thrive in where you live. So the moral of that story, by the way, I like to tell people it's better to eat Twinkies with a friend than eat broccoli by yourself. So diet, exercise, that's all great, but your social interactions and your friendships are what are going to make you live longer and healthier, which is one of the reasons life plan communities thrive. Even during COVID, they're getting on Zoom and playing games together and doing things. There's still such a sense of camaraderie around this group here. And they'll tell you they consider themselves a family. And it's really, if you take nothing else today about what's the different about the Arlington than any other community, due to our size, due to the nature of our residents, we like to say there's lots of communities. This one's a family. This is, I really want to get to know people and have those lifelong friendships. For some people, they're going to love that concept. For other people, they're going, no, I don't really like that as much. What's great is everybody will find their fit where they want to live. But for the Arlington, it is that sense of belonging, that sense of community here that really separates us. You have that resort lifestyle and a wonderful luxury lifestyle along with the friendships and the interactions. And then finally, you have that priority access to future care. We will guarantee that you have access to our assisted living, our memory support, and to our skilled nursing. What you may not know in this area, it's very hard to get into quality skilled nursing. We are considered the #1 skilled nursing by both hospitals in town. But it means, unless you're a resident, we take about 1 in 8 people that want to come to our skilled nursing. So it's not as simple as, well, I'll just stay at home, and when I need skilled nursing, I'll come to the Arlington. Because the odds of getting in, I get concierge doctors that call me constantly going, how do you get somebody in there? I tell them, well, other than coming from independent, it's very hard to get in here, and there's not much I can do to make that difference. It's more luck of the draw sometimes if you can get in or if you can't. So I would tell people, if your plan is, oh, I'll just stay home and get my skilled nursing at the Arlington, I would reevaluate that plan. Unless you're going to become a resident of the Arlington and make sure that you've got that guaranteed place. But we have that guaranteed future access along with some price control over that, which I'll talk about in a minute. In general, with life plan communities, there's 3 types of contracts. There's a type A, sometimes called an all-inclusive contract, where you pay more, but your care is provided at the same price you're paying for independent living. Unfortunately, what that means a lot of times is if you're in a home, especially like one of our estate homes, you're paying more monthly than, say, somebody in a 1-bedroom. And when you go to care in the same thing, in an A, you would be paying more for your care as well for the same care. We are a B contract for that reason. It's called a defined benefit contract, which basically means we provide the care for you at a discounted rate, but everybody is paying the same rate that came from that life plan as everyone else that came there. So the estate home is paying the same amount of money as the person in the 1-bedroom for their care. So you really pay for your home that you're living in while you're there, but when you give up that square footage, you're not paying that premium rate for the square footage that you want in. I've always felt the A sort of penalizes me because I wanted more space in independent. I've got to keep paying for it even once I've given up the space in independent. I find the B is a nice marriage and why I chose to sell a B contract. And then there is a type C. You don't find them often in this area, but that's pay as you go, which you pay an entrance fee and a monthly fee. They guarantee you access to care, but no price guarantee at all or no discounting. So when you need care 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you'll pay the same amount as the guy down the street that needs care at that time when you're on a C contract. With us, there's always going to be a discount that I'll talk about. So I want to talk specifically about the Arlington now. We are a life plan community, as I said, resort style living on 38 acres. We have 128 apartments and 47 freestanding estate homes. We're the only community in Collier County that has freestanding homes. So it is a very big differentiator for us, the fact we do have those estate homes. So I find a lot of our people are living in a home now and they don't want to give up a home. So you can come to the Arlington and do not have to move into a condo setting. Not that there's anything wrong with the condo setting, but it's another change that we have to get over versus being able to go from a home to a home. One of our big advantages here is location. We like to say location, location, location. It's everything. We are in the Lely Resort. We are the closest retirement community to Marco Island. We're about 10 minutes, maybe 15 during season, from Fifth Avenue in the downtown area of Naples. So it's a really, and yet we're still only maybe 5-10 minutes from the interstate. So it's a really nice central luxury location here in Lely Resort, but it gets you to a lot of things in town very quickly from where we're located. So we find a lot of people like the fact that if they're going to Marco, they're going to Fifth, it's really a very short drive to get there. And of course, we do have transportation to help you with that. Some of it is paid transportation, some of it's free. But we're very convenient. We have the South Regional Library is right across the street from us. Right behind that is Florida Southwestern State College. So there are a college right by, Physicians Regional Hospitals right down from us. So that's one of the big advantages. One that we talk about right now is we are a gated community too. And I want to make sure I emphasize that today. On a gated community, that's been really key during COVID. One of the reasons we have no cases amongst our residents, we have no cases amongst our employees is that gate, because it allows us to control the flow of people coming in. The non-gated communities in town have really been at the mercy of whoever wants to come to the lobby just walks in the lobby. There's no way to control it. We've been able to control that very successfully due to having that gate. The residents can still come and go as they please, but it's allowing us to really screen who comes in. All our vendors get temperature checked. All our employees get temperature checked and questions asked, just to make sure we've done everything in our power to make sure everybody stays healthy on the campus. We have physical, intellectual, and spiritual wellness programming. Fitness center, there's parking underneath the main building as well as 2-car garages in the homes. Indoor aquatic center and an outdoor pool. We are one of the few that have an indoor pool, heated. So if it's raining in the summer at 5 o'clock and that's the time you like to swim, you can still do that in a nice controlled setting there. Or as it gets colder on some days, you can still get your exercise in. We have art studio, club rooms. We have a movie theater upstairs, a boutique spa that does nails, hairs, massages, everything are here, as well as walking trails. So it's a beautiful community with a lot of amenities. For those that haven't been here, I would love you to come out and see some of that. Our culinary is one of the things I want to spend time on because, to be honest with you, I think it's what we do best. As I've shared with you, I've been to over 600 communities. I'm not even as a salesperson saying this. This is the best food I've ever had at a retirement community, beyond question. Not just the quality of the food, but the presentation is really first class, and it's affordable. It's not some, extravagant meal, but you are going to get rack of lamb and things like that in a very, very nice restaurant setting. Now, our restaurant for the last few weeks because of COVID has been closed. We've been doing delivery from there. But it is probably in a week or two going to open up again with social distancing. But we'll start serving in our restaurant again, and I expect that will continue to open up as time goes. I would encourage you all, as we open up, come out and have a meal with us. Get to know us a little. I mean, we'd be happy to the staff is always happy to take you for a meal because they get to eat too. So the food is really outstanding here. All of us eat it for lunch even, is how good it is. So, but we also have a pub. So pub food, we have a bistro for lighter meals. So you have a lot of culinary options. You do have a meal plan included, which is about $400 a person to spend on dining per month. If you're not in town, we will credit that back to you. If you're gone for a month or two to go up north, then of course that'll be credited back and you're not charged for those meals at that point. I mentioned we have 2 different living settings. We have the apartment homes. They're beautiful homes. They start at about 1,000 square feet for a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bath. And they go all the way up to a 3-bedroom with den that's a little over 2,000 square feet and pretty much everything in between. There's 12 floor plans, penthouse options. But that's your all-in-one building, very easy to go to dining, very easy to get to all the amenities from the apartment homes. I mentioned we also have the estate homes. These are the freestanding homes. They run from 1,800 square feet to 3,000 square feet. Now, I will tell you the 3,000 have been sold out for a while and are quite the wait list. But we do have a few of the 1,800 and 2,400 square foot available. They all have 2-car garages, great floor plans to them. And I think a lot of the residents like the fact that it's an easier change to a home. And they're still just a short golf cart or a short walk away from the building where the main amenities are located. So they can have that sort of independence out there while still having all the benefits of the clubhouse right by them. So the number one question I get at all of these is, okay, all sounds great. What's it cost? And it's really not a secret. I'll give you any prices you want to know. There's just a lot of different pricing. So I'm going to cover some basic pricing today. And then I'm going to encourage you to call Jeanette, or she'll call you this week, and she can provide you specific pricing, specific floor plans for everything. I've just found if I give it for every contract and every type, it just gets overwhelming, rather than giving you the 3 or 4 prices you probably care about. So we're happy to give those, but in general, we have 3 contract options. We have an 80% refundable, which means you pay an entrance fee and you get 80% of that returned to you or your estate when you leave. So you would get a majority of your money returned to you. We have a 50% option, which means you get half of the money you paid in will be returned to you or your estate. And then finally, we have a 0 option, which is you pay it and over 4 years we earn it. And after 4 years, there'd be no return to you or your estate. Now, there's good and bad with all of those. And one of those plans usually will fit each circumstance. I mentioned I'm a former CPA. I'm happy to talk you through those contracts and explain to you what might be better, or talk to your financial planner and explain to them the pluses and minuses of each one. With all of them, you will get a tax deduction. You get about 29 to 30%, it's 29% this year, of what you pay in monthly fees, and the non-refundable portion of your entrance fee are tax deductible as a prepaid medical expense. So it's another way that it can discount the cost of coming here a little bit by giving you that tax benefit. You also pay a monthly fee. The monthly fee covers all of the maintenance of the home, all of the benefits I'll talk about, and then you also get a healthcare benefit for that. So what are the fees? Apartments are going to start for one person at $325,000 for a 1-bedroom at a 0% option. You're going to just about, I would say, I'm looking at it right now, so give me a second. You'll just about double that, a little under double for the 80% option, just to give you a frame of reference. The estate homes start at $835,000 for a 50% option. There is no 0% in the homes. They start at 50 or 80s. So you pay $835,000 and get 50% back. The second person does pay an entrance fee of $19,000, regardless of the type of contract that you buy. And then monthly fees, the apartments start at $39.98 for a single, and that includes $400 a month of meals and all of your utilities. And then your estate homes start at $7,423 a month with the same benefits. The second person in any of the apartments or estate homes pays $1,213. Don't worry if you didn't get those. We can send you out my chart I'm using here. But as I said, we will provide you exact pricing for anything you want to look at. There's really nothing hidden there. We really can provide it. So if you say, I want to know a 3-bedroom, we can tell you what that is and provide you floor plans. So don't worry if you miss something out. So what's included the fees? Maintenance-free living. We change your light bulbs. We do everything for you. So you don't have to worry about anything on any of maintenance of the house. All your utilities, including water and sewer, it covers basic cable TV, and Wi-Fi is also included in that. So you basically have no utilities other than like extended cable TV. Security and emergency alert system. We have 24-hour manned security on site, but you also have a button that if you hit it, we know you're having a problem. We know where you are on the 38 acres, and we're coming to help you. So you can walk the dog in peace if you want, and not worry that if you had a health crisis, we could be there to help you very quickly just by you pushing the button. You have weekly housekeeping, something I wish I had at home. They're going to do your bathrooms, your countertops, your floors, light housekeeping that's done for you weekly at no charge to you. But weekly linen service as well. They're going to take your sheets off your bed, do the laundry on those, and replace your sheets every week. So it's funny how something as easy as making a bed many times will force people to have to bring in help because the bending and the stretching and things is too much. This allows people to stay active and stay independent longer just by providing something simple like weekly linen service. And then your real estate and property tax is also included. There's no hidden fees here. There's no assessments or property taxes or anything like that that we do separate. We do your lawn maintenance and your landscaping, even on the homes. And then your building insurance is also included. Excuse me. If you have a flood in the apartment even, we're gonna cover your appliances, your flooring, all of that, and replace all that for you. All you have to worry about is your own contents. And that's very inexpensive insurance to carry. I mentioned the healthcare benefit, and I want to talk more about that. It's probably the part that most people that I talk to care about the least when they first start looking, but becomes some of the best value to them later on. What happens is, for both of you, if you need assisted living care, we would provide you a discount per person of $2,500 a month. So you would pay $3,500 a month for assisted living versus paying $6,000 a month, which is what the public pays for assisted living. In memory care, you save $3,250 a month. So again, $8,000 for the general public, $4,750 for a resident. And then our healthcare center, you save $220 a day. So you save a little over $6,000 for skilled nursing. Now, Medicare will pay for about the first 100 days, but beyond that, we're providing a benefit there. And so that benefit's there so that you get that cost savings later on. I really want to emphasize on our healthcare. I know I talked about earlier, 5-star rated skilled nursing. We have all private rooms, by far the best care in the area, bar none. There's nobody in the area that has near the care reputation that we do. It's the part none of you hope you use, none of you think you'll probably need, but boy, will you be thankful if you ever do and that it's there. Because as I said, I get people in tears on the phone with me that are in the public, not moving here, going, why can't I get into your skilled nursing? And unfortunately, because they didn't do anything to guarantee them that spot in there. But our care is really the best. It's private rooms in memory care, private rooms in assisted living, private suites there, and private rooms when you get to skilled nursing. So it is a very much a luxury product where that carries right through our care area, being one of the best care areas in the country, let alone the area. We do a tremendous job. So what's the I know all of you are going, wow, sounds great. What steps would I take if I were coming there, or what would you require? First thing is have a plan and communicate a plan. And this is what I'm emphasizing most of all on this call, is the more you tell us about you, your wishes, the things you don't wish to happen, the better we can help you. Jeanette, myself, Felicia, we're just here to guide you. So if you share with us your concerns and things, we can try to address what options are available for you. Those options many times will include the Arlington, many times they don't. And we'll be very honest with you. I will honestly tell you, I've been doing this for years. I don't care if you move to the Arlington, and I sincerely mean that. What I care is that you're happy in your retirement and that you plan well for it. And if that's somewhere else or with a different plan, as long as you understand the plan and you understand the risks with it, then that's a good plan for you. The more you'll share with Jeanette and the more you'll open up to her, the more she can lead you through that. So have a plan, communicate the plan. Next, we do a financial overview. Simply put, we just make sure, do you have enough money to qualify? As a rule of thumb, you would want to have in assets about 2 times the entrance fee that you're paying. That's in general. We do a more detailed qualification, but in general, that will qualify 95% of it. So if I'm paying a $500,000 entrance fee, you would want about $1 million in assets. If I'm paying $1 million entrance fee, you would want about $2 million before you buy. If you have that, you're probably going to qualify financially for what you want. And then finally, when we get closer to you wanting to move here, we do a health questionnaire. You do have to qualify medically to come here. We're not looking for general aging things. If you have diabetes, if you have heart disease, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for, is there anything that we can pretty much guarantee you're going to need care in the first 2 years that you're here? So if you have dementia already, things like that, that could be an issue in qualifying. A very wise person in this area made a quote to me one day, and I've remembered it, which is better to be 5 years too early than 5 minutes too late when you're looking at retirement communities. We all get that call which says, oh, I just got a diagnosis of something 2 weeks ago. Now I want to move to the Arlington because I know I'm going to need care. It's a little late usually at that point. So that's that 5 minutes too late. That's why we tell you to start looking early, start making your decisions early while you have a ton of decisions in front of you. Because the minute you get a diagnosis or something changes, you're going to watch your decision making shrink. And it went from, wow, everybody wants us to, uh-oh, these are the only two places that will take us. And COVID has really shown us that. People that didn't make a decision and that were at home and suddenly it went poor realized they couldn't come to a skilled nursing or assisted living because nobody would take them because they were protecting their own residents at the time and not allowing people from the outside in. So those people, unfortunately, were really out of luck and in a very bad situation, and they were having trouble even getting home care to come in. So that's why I said COVID pointed out a bunch of things that what we thought would happen really transpired where people said, I had a plan and that plan fell apart. And it's sad, but a little planning ahead of time could have avoided that. From our end, it's usually people we've been talking to for 5 years. Yet they waited till the last minute until something changed and it was too late. So you do have to qualify health-wise, but the financial and the health are the two qualifications. And then finally, what I tell you is either make a virtual appointment or come in once we're allowed to take visitors. I think in about 2 to 3 weeks, we'll probably be able to take tours live again and come in and see the place. I recommend the phone appointment first or spending a little extra time here the first day because Jeanette's needs to know a little bit about you to decide what to show. I know everybody comes in and says, well, I want to see 10 apartments. What we found is any more than 2 or 3, you won't remember what you saw. It all starts to blend. So she's going to talk to you for a half hour or so, or 15 minutes even, to find out what you want, what fits you, and what amenities are important to you so that she can give you a nice tour in an hour or so of the community to show you the bricks and mortar. Because obviously that matters. We are a very touch-oriented society. Unfortunately, in COVID, we find that out. And you want to see it, you want to experience it a little bit. We want you to come out. You are welcome to come out once we're allowed to bring people. And we want you to experience it a little, and we want you to be able to see those things. But Jeanette, during this time, when a lot of you have some time on your hands, can cover a lot of things up front so that when we open, you're simply coming out to see what you've already talked about and you already have a plan in place. So I would heavily suggest to you, do even a Zoom appointment with her where she talks to you and talks to you and your spouse for half an hour or talks on the phone. And then she can craft and make a good use of your time. We want to value your time while you're out here and make sure you leave with a good impression going, I saw what I needed to see the first time around. So when's the right time? For many of you, it's now, but it's really while it's still your decision to make. And that's the thing I'm going to emphasize the most. You want to make the decision while it's still yours to make, where other people aren't dictating what you need to do. Be proactive. While you can enjoy the benefits of the community, the number one complaint at retirement communities is I should have done this 5 years sooner. It's you really want to, they come in and realize I'm having more fun than I ever thought I would have. So what was it that I wasn't ready for that I dug my heels in? I ask people all the time, they'll say, well, I'm happy in my home. Are you happy in your home or you're comfortable in your rut? In other words, are we truly living this really full lifestyle and I go out a lot and I've got lots of friends and I do things? Or is it just, well, I get to watch TV every night and there's no change involved? So really evaluate, am I happy or am I just existing? I want you to thrive in your retirement. That's my goal for everybody, which means when you make a change, I want you better off 3 years later than you are today. Healthier, more active, more. I want those people coming back to me, and I've seen it all over the country. I go back to my communities, they give me a big hug and they go, wow, thank you so much. This was so much better than I thought it was going to be. They realize the benefits were huge, and it makes me feel good. That's why we do what we do. We are salespeople, but truthfully, you don't work for a not-for-profit for the money. You work for a not-for-profit because you want to help people, and we are a not-for-profit. And that's what Jeanette, myself, Felicia, that's our goal, is just to help you. You won't get a hard sales pitch from me. You really won't. You come in, I just want to know what's important to you and see if this will be of any benefit to you. And if it's not, I'll give you suggestions on what will, or Jeanette will give you suggestions as far as what will work best for you. So I'd encourage you, is now the perfect time to do that. We're going to make available, I'll take some questions in a minute, but we're going to make available this tape, and I'm giving this presentations a few times, but we'll have it on YouTube in a few days and send you a link so you can rewatch it. A spouse can watch it if they're not here today, or you can call and ask me or Jeanette any questions. We work together. So call and ask us questions, what we're doing. I'm going to open it up to everybody for questions if you have them, and then, you know, we'll go from there. So I know Joanna and I know Thomas and your wife are on. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
First, I want to say that was a very, very excellent presentation.
Thank you.
And we are certainly in the category of thinking of all of the things that you have talked about. You know, it will boil down to numbers, and that's why we're very interested in getting your chart or whatever information, you know, that you. My husband is the numbers man, so he will enjoy talking to you very much.
Excellent. I love people who love spreadsheets.
Yeah, oh, you're doing very well. One of the questions that well, first of all, I want to say we are proactive people. And one of the things that we have talked about a lot is that we know we're not going to get off this planet alive. So, you know, we're into questioning and information gathering at this point. So one of the questions that I do have, we have wondered how long-term care insurance fits into the financial planning and expenses and so on. Could you give me just a brief discussion if that applies at all to?
It really does. It does. It's a great question, actually. Long-term care can be of great value to you, actually. As I said, when you go to care, it's discounted, but there's still a cost. For long-term care insurance, many people have no cost when they go to our care because we've discounted it, and then they're covering, say, $200 a day or $250 a day for the care. So in many cases, those with long-term care, when they leave independent living to go into assisted living or memory care, actually are paying nothing to live here because their insurance is paying their portion and we're providing a discount for the other portion. So, and then their monthly fee went away on their apartment when they stopped living there. What you do want to do, though, is review your policy, and I can help you with that, or Jeanette can. Given an offer to decrease his benefits.
And I say that again because
he was given an offer to decrease his premium and his benefit, which they offer many times. They'll come out to you and say, well, if you'll decrease your maximum by this, we'll decrease your premium by Y. And with our discount, he found he could decrease his premium now with no impact because they're just going to reimburse. And he had like $500 a day of coverage. And he realized he only needed about $300 a day of coverage for him. So for many people, they'll look at their policy, not to get rid of it, you should keep it, but to make sure that they're not overinsured, so to speak, that I'm paying for something that I don't need because you bought some insurance through us when you moved here. We're already reducing the cost and then they're paying the remainder usually. So now for some policies, they only pay $100 a day or things like that, depending on when you bought the policy. Those will still be valuable, but of course, you'll still have some costs there. In general, we're bringing the cost down to about a little over $100 a day for assisted living. Memory care comes out to about $140, $150 a day with our discount. And then skilled nursing is going to run you about $290 a day. Now, home care is the other piece of this. We don't cover the home care, though we can provide it for you. If you're going to use home care, you want to consider that because you can use your long-term care policy to cover that as well. So we find most of the policies, this lets them stretch even further for you and cover more. So they should still be part of your financial planning, though.
Okay.
They do nothing for you in independent while you don't need care, though. They don't consider independent living here as a care component, but it will allow you to bring help in when you need it, and many times let you bring in more expensive care is usually individual care in your home, but that will probably allow you to pay for that without a big financial impact on you.
Okay.
I hope that answered it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Hey.
I just wondered if you moved into independent living, and within the first year something catastrophic happened health-wise, could you move into assisted living if you needed more care?
Once you're on the contract, you are bound to the contract, which is if you need care the first day you have a stroke, you may move to assisted living at a discounted rate. You may move to skilled nursing.
Right.
So when I say once we've covered you and you've settled, which is one of the reasons why once you've deposited, Gretchen and them will go settle soon. So we make sure you're covered. Then the unexpected happens. You're already covered by us within the life plan, within everything that we're doing. So you have no worries once you've settled on the contract.
I just want to make one comment as far as the skilled nursing, because after I had heart surgery, I was at the Arlington for 33 days.
Oh, wow. Wonderful.
So this is what sold me on the place. And if I can sell my house here right now, we'll be seeing you soon.
I'm glad you had good care there, and we get a lot of those stories. So thank you for sharing it, because the care is phenomenal there.
It was.
What they do is amazing.
The therapy too was just excellent. My next question is about the COVID. If someone comes down with the virus and is hospitalized, will they then be returned back to the Arlington?
So
this is a question now that is coming up,
correct. The state has come out. It used to be I could have answered yes. Now there would be an interim step. You have to first, the state requires it. There's nothing we can do. You have to first go to a COVID facility, which in this area is Manor Care. You have to, I get it. I think that restriction, though, just so you know, will go away very quickly. But today, it wasn't this way in the beginning of COVID. It became this way later on. In the last 2 weeks, they've dictated it. But you only have to go there for the 10-day period, and then we can move you to our skilled nursing.
Nice.
So it's only for a period. What they want to make sure is that people that have come down with it and have been tested that have COVID, that they don't spread it to more nursing. I get their intent. You have to understand part of the reason is most of Florida have semi-private rooms. So unfortunately, they didn't give any leeway for a place like the Arlington that has all private rooms. We could easily do the isolation, but they're not giving us that ability at this point. And we're fighting through Leading Age Florida and everybody else to educate them on there should be some waivers to that for places like ourselves that can handle it. But at this point, we have not won that battle. I don't think that will be in place for much longer, though, to be honest with you. I think it's just due to the numbers of cases right now. They want to make that, to open things up, they need the number to go down. So they're putting up extra restrictions on us. But we would get you here after that 10 days as fast as we could. And you would have a bed waiting for you. Yeah.
Good question.
I know that's the disappointing for us. Again, the nice thing is our first focus is if you don't get it and don't have to go to the hospital, then we don't have to worry about it. And so we do a lot on prevention, and we've had no cases. Now, again, make it clear, if you go to the hospital, they test you. If you test negative, you come to our skilled nursing. Okay, it's only if you have the virus that we're talking about. So at this point, it hasn't happened to anyone because we've been clear so far. And we work very hard to keep that way. There's a lot of restrictions in our healthcare right now for the protection of everybody. And I don't have a single resident complaining about it or family member. They're all really supportive right now because they know it is difficult. If you get the virus, you're restricted a little bit.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have one. Whoops,
okay.
Let Joanne. Let Joanne go.
Okay, Joanne, you want to start?
Oops.
I
Turn
can't
that
hear
mic-
Joanne. She's not showing muted, but, well, why don't you all ask, and then when Joanne gets a voice here, we'll get her question. So why don't you start, Wayne?
She'll probably have to turn her button on down at the lower
Oh,
left.
yeah. Joanne,
Yes.
down below the microphone.
Yeah,
Oh,
you showed muted, Joanne.
Little red microphone.
Try
Can you hear
now.
me now?
I
Yeah.
can.
Yes.
Thank you. There you are.
What's your occupancy? You're talking about a lead time that's very flexible. You have to have something available that a purchaser wants, and the purchaser has to sell homes
Correct.
usually. So how do you work that all together?
So this is where myself, Gretchen, Jeanette are really good. If you share with us your plans, what you want, your timing, we can estimate for you how long to get what you want. Right now, we're about 80% occupied on the campus, but many different floor plans are sold out at the moment. They still turn over, and we're pretty good at telling you what the lead times. Now, once you make a deposit, you have 90 days still before you settle, where you can work on selling your home. If your home doesn't sell in that 90 days, then many times we'll still work with you on that date to extend it. All I ask people is once you deposit to make a very good faith effort to sell your home. So what I found luckily in this area pre-COVID, granted, is homes usually sell in a month or so for most people. So I really haven't had to extend people for a home sale. They usually happen very quickly here, but during COVID, I am extending some people because we know the housing market's a little affected, and we've given them more time to do that. The bottom line is, as long as people work with us in good faith, we're going to work with you too. But what you really need to share with us, one of the questions I always ask is, in an ideal world, when would you want to move and what would you want to move to? Once we know that, we can work backwards and see if that's a realistic timeline. You might say, I'd like to be there in October in this, and we'll tell you the best way to make that occur for you.
Thank you.
Again, the more you share with them, the more we can help you get there and give you advice. Okay. Wayne, you had a question? I think it's Wayne, right?
Yep. Question I had was, if there's just one of us and we go into the next level and you're paying the dues for the level you're living in, how do you do away with that and move into the next level?
Okay, so let's say there's two of you and it depends on the level. First of all, if you just go to skilled nursing for 2-3 months, Medicare's paying. So it's not costing you anything over there. But let's say one of you needs assisted living. You would have some choices to make. Sometimes one moves over and the other stays an independent. When that happens, the person over here is paying about $3,500 for assisted. The second person fee goes away. The $1,200 a month drops off from your fee. So it's costing you about an extra $2,300 a month in that case. Many times the couple together will decide we're both moving to assisted living and they give up the apartment. Because you could bring in home care, do other things if one of you is very healthy to kind of prolong going to assisted living. When that happens, your monthly fee in independent goes away and you just start paying for your assisted living at that point. You're only paying for the independent when you're still living there or holding it for yourself to come back to. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? These are good questions. Joanne.
If you can manage moving into one of the estate homes, and then one partner passes, can you move into something smaller?
You can. And it's provided for in the contract already for relocating to something smaller. And we would approve that. So we could provide you the contract that tells you exactly how that works. But basically, in most cases, because they're going usually much smaller, they're getting some of their entrance fee returned to them, and they're paying a lower monthly fee at that point. And yes, that can be done, depending, but we're gonna qualify you as if you're staying. So usually if you come in with a spouse and you're there, the only reason you'd be moving is because you want to move, not because you can't afford to be there. Because we would have made sure that you can afford to still stay there. So it would really be a choice to come to something smaller. And that does happen. We've had a handful of people do that. But I've had more people actually just choose to stay in the home because they've made their friends and that's what they want. But yes, the option is there for you. Any others? These are great questions.
I look forward to getting more information.
Good.
Your information on the pricing, because my note paper was too small to do everything. And I would love to see a blank contract.
Absolutely. Jeanette, I think that's you.
Yes, I will certainly take care of that, Joanne.
Is email a good way for you, Joanne?
Sure.
Or do you prefer hard copy?
Well, if it's a beautiful color thing, send a hard copy.
Okay. The contract is just black and white. I thought maybe the contract, as it's big, might be better on the computer.
Fine.
Yeah. So we'll email the contract so you'll get that quicker. And then we can send you the glossy stuff in the mail. And for any of you others on there, please just let Gretchen or Jeanette know. They'll be more than happy to send you out that information. When you tour a community, I would always ask for the contract. That's something you want to review as early as you can. It makes sure nothing gets left out of the presentation that was important to you. It gives you a chance to question things.
I would also love to see a recording of what we just watched so I can get my husband to sit and watch it.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing 2 or 3 of these and kind of picking what I did best, I guess is what I'd say. And then we will send a link out to you for a YouTube video of this.
Great.
So probably within the week, we'll have that YouTube up and running so that you can show it or you can rewatch it, whatever you'd like. And it'll just be a link that'll take you right onto the web to watch it. Okay, I think we'll have that out by Friday. Okay.
Fine, thank you.
I just warn you, it may be this one and maybe the next one. It just depends which one Felicia up there deems that I did best at. So thank you all for attending today. I really appreciate it. This has been wonderful. And we look forward to talking to you all more. Have a great day.